The media has put out that LeBron James' sister was found murdered in her apartment. However, this is not his blood sister. So why is it made to look like this is LeBron James' sister? LeBron James is asking for answers in the death of a close friend's sister. And this close friend of his is an executive with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, when this story first broke, Brandon Weems was not mentioned. The titles of this story says LeBron James is seeking answers, or LeBron James' sister found murdered. A close friend of LeBron James' sister was murdered, and he's an executive for the Cavaliers. However, Brandon Weems is Erica Weems' brother, and he's a scouting director for the Cavs. However, Erica Weems was found shot in her home in Akron. And they must stress this is so important to the case that Brandon and James also grew up in Akron, where the sister was found murdered, guys. And after that situation happened to Mrs. Erica Weems, it was deemed to be a homicide. But see, it's a homicide in the news and to the public. But on the inside, guys, they know this was a blood sacrifice. Allegedly. And see, what makes this more terrible than anything is that Mrs. Erica Weems was not only murdered, but she was brutally murdered. She was shot in her head. And at the time that this happened, guys, LeBron alerted his 48.1 million followers on Instagram into the situation. LeBron, quote, Akron, Ohio. My brother's sister was murdered this past weekend in her home. My brother family need answers to why and by whom. My city, I need y'all to go to work and find out who did this awful, shameful, disgusting thing to such a caring, loving angel. Yeah, this is what LeBron stated on his social media. Then he went on to say, my brother. He was referring to Brandon Weems. And see, Brandon Weems was a former teammate at Akron State Vincent Mary High School, which they both attended. See, they remained close when LeBron came up in the game, guys. See, he kept his friend very close to him. See, Weems was hired as a scout by the Cavs in 2015. That was shortly before James embarked on a season that ended with the franchise's first title, which was the NBA. Our hearts are heavy and filled with pain over the senseless act, stated the general manager Kobe Altman. We express our deepest condolences to Brandon, the entire family, the Weems family, and everybody in the Akron community. Backstory. Weems was found with a gunshot wound to her head in her home in the 900 block of Hardiston Boulevard, and this happened back on November 2nd. So this is the thing, guys. Who would want to kill Erica Weems? This just doesn't make sense. Either way around this, it just does not make any sense. It seemed that Erica lived alone, and she was living in a very high-crime neighborhood. And it was stated that she was very intelligent, she was well-educated, and she was embraced and raised in a good family. So how was it that Erica was trapped living in a high-crime neighborhood? And back in 2015, her brother is a scout for the Cleveland Cavaliers? And he never offered to help his sister get out of the high-crime neighborhood she was living in? See, this is what some of you guys are failing to realize. Some of these celebrities, Jamie Foxx, when they get it big, They are not helping any of their family members. So to knock one of them off and have them sacrificed means nothing. They already know the ones that they want to sacrifice. And remember, guys, things can look sweet on the outside, but if we're not on the inside, we really don't know what is going on. But if we can read in between these lines about the situation that is occurring and pay attention to the details, it should not be that hard to decipher what the truth is right here. Please do not come into my comment section and say, oh, she's grown, she can live wherever she wants to live. That was her choice to stay there. She didn't need any help. Blah, blah, and blah. Because for one, LeBron James broadcast this young lady as being his sister, which means he looked at her like she was a sister to him when she was alive. And we all know how LeBron James's pockets is looking. And I can guarantee you guys, LeBron James is not living in a high crime neighborhood. Mr. Wings, Erica's brother, is no longer living in a high crime neighborhood. So why was his sister left to live in a high crime neighborhood when they said she was very well educated and intelligent? And it seems by the brother getting recruited to be a director or scouter for the Cleveland Cavaliers, it seems like he has some education and intelligence as well. So why didn't he help his sister get out of that high crime neighborhood? I mean, he has the money. And so does LeBron James, because LeBron is doing all of the talking for this young man. Or was the sister meant to stay there so this sacrifice can go unnoticed? Oh, she was living in a high crime neighborhood. See, she got killed. It's very bad where she lives. Get the fuck out of here if you think I'm gonna believe that. This girl earned 2 college degrees, including her master's. And not only that, guys, she did own her own home. It wasn't her apartment. However, couldn't she just sell that home and buy a home somewhere in a safer neighborhood? And I'm just stating what's here, guys. You don't have to agree. And not only that, she had a childcare business. So it seems that she was going in the right direction. But why have all of these things in a high crime area? So James said he gave his sister's eulogy. And he said people were saying to him, dude, I thought you were an only child. And LeBron stated to them, you just really don't know my story. LeBron, you tell all of your business anyway. You should be the last one saying that somebody don't know your story. However, before this lady was brutally murdered, if you guys go and do the investigation and research, you don't see her taking a picture with LeBron or her brother, Mr. Wings. You only see her on pictures by herself. So this is some bullshit. That's just like family members you know you don't fool with. And then when they pass away, there are no pictures of you with that family member. So this is some bullshit. Pay attention to the details. Where are the pictures? Why isn't LeBron posting any pictures of his sister and him on his Instagram? Neither has the brother. They thought he was an only child. Now check this out. So Erica Wings went silent on that Halloween night. And we all know, if you know about sacrifice and Halloween, okay? And somebody was trying to call her, but all of her calls kept going straight to voicemail. So seemingly Charmaine stepped in, and this is her sister allegedly. And she said she talked it over with her husband that her sister was not answering the phone, and she didn't have a good feeling about this, and she wanted to contact her to make sure she was actually good and all right. Charmaine said that her mind was racing. she started panicking and getting more and more worried about her sister and not knowing why she was not answering her phone. So after some time had passed, Charmaine says that her and her husband went over to her sister's house and they found Erica's back door unlocked. And they said as they stumbled inside the home, they saw the children's toys from her daycare business strewn across the floor as they continued to step into the home. Now, guys, I'm not trying to be funny or anything. We're reading in between the lines and paying attention to the details. Now, when I explained in the beginning about Mrs. Erica Weems, it seemed really golden how I expressed that she owned her own home and she had a daycare business. The lady didn't have a daycare business like a facility. She ran it out of her home. Okay, I just thought I may add that. So her sister Charmaine kept explaining that they walked about the house and then all of a sudden just went up the stairs. Now mind you guys, Erica went silent on Halloween night and her sister went to her home on November 2nd along with her husband. So the sister continued that her and her husband went and jolted up the stairs. And that's when they found Erica, slumped on her bed with both of her feet dangling off the side of it. So as the investigators arrived on the scene, they started taking photos of the crime scene and also of Erica's corpse. And it showed that Erica was partially wrapped in a green bath towel. And her cell phone, the one her sister had called all weekend, was still in Erica's hand. Now check this out, guys. So she had the phone in one hand and had a red Solo cup in another hand. And they wanted to express that this cup was red. They also shared that she had 2 tattoos on her chest, on each side. And it said, "Here today, 1961, and gone tomorrow, 2006. I'm sure you guys can do the math on that. And see, Erica was paying homage to her mother, Brenda. She lost Brenda to cancer at the age of 45. And as the investigation deepened, the photos that were taken suggested that Erica Weems was seated on her bed near a nightstand. And this is when she was shot 3 times in her head. And they said this was based off the towel that was wrapped around her. They stated that they believe she had either just showered or was about to shower. And they think she had been dead at least 1 day before she was found. There was no obvious signs of a struggle or a break-in. However, a few items including her purse were missing, and other valuables were left behind. So the autopsy records obtained reveals that she was shot 3 times and with a small caliber gun. One of the bullets were fired from an intermediate range, and it went through her right temple and it caused the fatal wound. And the other wounds to her head caused superficial damage. According to the report, 4 bullet fragments in all were recovered from her body, but no firearm or shell casings were on the scene. So guys, don't you find this odd? It seems like to me that when she was killed, the scene was actually staged. Everything was staged. I don't even think she was in the shower. I don't even think that she was trying to even get in the shower. I believe she was undressed after she was killed and the scene was staged. Why do they have to express that the towel was green? Why do they have to express that the Solo cup was red? We know that Solo cups are red, but why is it being expressed that the Solo cup was red? When I think about green towel, I think about money. And when I think about a red solo cup dealing with the situation, blood sacrifice. I'm sorry. Her mother being 45, 9. I mean, there are a lot of ways you can pick at this and read between the lines, and you can see that this was set up. This scene was set up and she was sacrificed. However, let's continue. So check this out, guys. See, this whole thing is just so weird to me. Erica never married, nor did she have any children of her own. Family says that she broke off an engagement to a man a few years back and was dating a man at the time of her death. That man was questioned, and he has been cooperating with the detectives and everything, giving them all the information that he possibly could. And he has not been considered as a suspect. And so it was stated, guys, because I want to skip down, I don't want to make this video too long. It was stated that LeBron reflected on his life with the Weems family. And he started joking of times when a young Erica was being very annoying. So that's the only thing you can say, LeBron? When you're reflecting on happy times of this dead woman, you said that you can remember all of the times that she was annoying? That doesn't sound like a reflectable happy time with someone that you loved, your so-called sister, and she passes away. Well, she's murdered, actually. But that is the only happy memory that you could come up and speak at her funeral about? Yes, guys, he spoke this up at her funeral, saying how Erica was always being annoying. However, LeBron went on to say that everyone understands the angel we lost here on earth. But no, she is in a bigger place. We will find justice, and we will get justice. I promise you that. This is what LeBron James said, guys, at this girl's funeral. I thought it was they're in a better place. He said she's in a bigger place. What do you mean a bigger place? Was her house too small for her? Did you know that? I'm just saying, guys. What does he mean by a bigger place? If you guys don't believe me, look this up. Research it yourself, and it's there. Then LeBron went on to say, guys, because I got to hurry up and finish this up because I don't want to make it too long. But I want it to be very detailed and give you the information, and then you can listen and determine yourself on what you think happened. Okay, so he continued to go on to say, but justice has been fleeting. The case appears to have stalled, and police conceded that they have no suspect and no leads. Of course they don't, LeBron, because you guys made it that way. Now, my truthers out there, y'all know every time is a blood sacrifice, 97% out of the time that the murderers or the killers are never caught. The case goes cold, especially when it's a blood sacrifice, because it was made not to be solvable. So they stated, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. It appears that Erica was killed by someone she knew or by an intruder she did not expect. Charmaine recalled a text that Erica sent to a male friend that read, I opened my door to a complete stranger, thinking it was you, LOL. And so her sister stated that everything about the text is out of character, including using the abbreviation laughing out loud. If there's a stranger at the back door, she's going to call the police or my husband. If there's a man at the back door or anybody that shouldn't be there, she'll call 911. Her sister stated it is absolutely somebody who knows her and somebody that she really trusted. So the case is bizarre, guys, and like I said, I don't know, they didn't line up and say if that text was sent that night, but she didn't open her door. She was upstairs in her bedroom with a towel wrapped around her like she just gotten out the shower, and in my opinion, this was all staged and it was a blood sacrifice, allegedly. LeBron James decides to give an eulogy with this young lady and says that he remembers the times that she was annoying, and then turns around and says that she's an angel and she's in a bigger place. Please like the video, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so when I drop new videos, you guys will be aware. Till the next video.